Good afternoon, guys. So today is 30th of September, and we will have to cover the current affairs of today. The first news is related to the toxic material that are present in the firecrackers. Now, I hope you remember this has been a problem for the last 2 or 3 years with regard to the increasing pollution in the capital. And after the Shahara, you will see the level of the pollution in the Delhi will increase significantly. That will cause problem for the people who are living in Delhi. It will also cause certain elements that are related to asthma. Certain growth of the children are also affected. The lungs are also affected. So that is why a case has been filed in the Supreme Court. Now you have to go into the background. That what is the background of it? Now I am probably, or some of you may be probably aware of the fact that last year, I think in the month of December, if I remember correctly, there was an incident in Tamil Nadu in which 3 persons were killed because of explosion that have occurred in an explosive factory in Shivakashi. Now this Shivakashi is located in the region of Tamil Nadu. Tamil Nadu had a certain area where there are only producers of patakas and firecrackers. Now the case has been filed in the Supreme Court that there should be a constitution of a particular committee, and this particular committee will look out for the harmful chemicals that are being used, that are getting basically affecting the life of the children and the life of the younger adults and also the common people. Now there was a committee which has submitted a report. This committee have suggested that the harmful chemicals industries needed to be closed down. Now they have filed a petition in the Supreme Court that it is against the right to do business. It is against their right to basically provide employment, and it is also not favorable with regard to the persons who are getting employment in those particular firecracker factories. Now it is a harsh reality that majority of the firecrackers are basically made by the children who are below the age of 18 years, and very less people who are above the age of 18 years are engaged in the firecracker industry. So as their age is smaller, they are generally sitting in a round, just filling up all the firecrackers. That generally leads to the accident, that generally leads to the casualties that happened over time over there. Now in that particular case, the Supreme Court have said that it is highly clear from the inquiry that the use of toxic material is still in the firecrackers. Therefore, what we do, we should basically either file a contempt action against the manufacturers, either we should hold them accountable. Now there are 3 or 5 harmful chemicals. You should remember their name. There is antimony, bismuth, arsenic, and lead. And one more information that I would like to give you. There is CSIR laboratories. They have created some patakas. They are eco-friendly in nature. Okay, I think by the name of stars they go. So पिछले साल जो थे they have launched them. तो पिछले साल उन्होंने ये launch करे थे. And over the time they have basically provided a type of a insight into it. तो इस बात को ध्यान रखिएगा. It may be another way to basically, if the Indians do not stop bursting patakas, we have to look for alternative solutions and how to provide alternative ways for the people to celebrate the festivals that they are so keen on celebrating, even compromising their health and the well-being of their elderly and the children. ठीक है, तो इस बात को ध्यान रखिएगा. The next news is related to the Nipah antibodies are found in the bat samples in Kerala. So please remember, Nipah is a type of a virus that is generally coming from the bats. Now certain bat sample has been assessed in Kerala, and in those it has been found that there are capital G antibodies that were found in the certain samples in the Neurological Institute of Virology. Now apart from that, you must have to know that this particular Nipah outbreak had basically provided a type of a reality check to the people that we are generally coming very close to the nature which is generally harming us. So these are the things that are needed to be done. So Nipah virus is a serious case. This is another. Now please remember, these small viruses are very important because we have already seen the COVID virus. We still do not know the origin of the COVID virus, from where it had come. If you do not know the origin, it is very difficult to make the antibodies. If you know the origin, it is also difficult to make antibodies, but up to some extent you know that what kind of antibodies we can generally find in those particular individuals due to which the bats are able to basically survive themselves. Okay, so for example, when we talk about a particular virus, bats are considered one of the communities or one of the birds that mammals which basically contain huge number of viruses which have huge potential in infecting and creating a type of a negative effect on the human right and increase in casualties. Okay, so therefore as long as bat stays away from the human life, it is good for the human survival also and also for the survival of the bats. So that you should know. Now coming on to the next topic, it is way of antiseptic to make way for bibliosomia. Now bibliography, I hope you remember, bibliophilia is type of a person who loves books. So this is what we are trying to engage here. Now this is again a news from Kerala. Now this is a panchayat called as Kollam. There is a government Victoria hospital over there. Now what this hospital will have? This hospital will have library, a small library, basically to drive the interest of the people so that more people will be attracted to reading into those particular libraries. So, इस बात को ध्यान रखिएगा. The next news is related to the scheme before its time. Now yesterday I told you about the digital health ID. I told you yesterday that there will be certainly an article that will be coming tomorrow because that is how Hindu functions. They give you information one day and on the next day they basically give about the positive and the negative of that particular scheme. I hope you remember yesterday I told you there is a digital health ID that the Pradhan Mantri Narendra Modi have launched. What is the objective of digital health ID? First of all, the doctors will have clear case history that whatever have happened to you over the course of years, whatever prescriptions you are on, what kind of medicines you are taking and what kind of diseases you are suffering from in a single place. Most of the times, the patients consult 2 or 3 doctors. They do not tell them basically what happened to them or where they are not very clearly able to explain. Because when it comes to medical faculties, not many people can search what had happened to them. So that is a problem there. The second issue is the health checkups or all the data, all the reports that the individual have to take, they will be not obliged to take that particular report from one place to another. Okay, so basically you are using a technological intervention just to make the way of the doctors and the way of the patients more streamlined and more comfortable. That is the objective of the digital health ID. Now this digital health ID will be a 14-digit number and it will be either can be linked to the Aadhaar card or either can be linked to the phone number. Now this particular article basically criticizes that although the idea is good, but maybe the timing is wrong. Why they are saying the timing is wrong? Because they want to highlight the plight of the individual in India. If you are providing a type of a technocratic, bureaucratic hurdle, there will be a lot of exclusions of availing the facility from the government agencies that the people will not be able to do. Specifically those people who are in the older stages, who are currently presumed that they are the major takers of the government services. Now, other than that, there are again issues of privacy, unnecessary hassles that the people have to go. Just for example, you can imagine a 70-year-old person, whether he will be able to operate the mobile phone or install the app in his Android phone. Whether he will have Android phone, that is also questionable. So why you want to basically create a two type of class between the two individuals in which the people who are well educated, well informed, they can avail the facilities better, and the people who are not educated well, they are not allowed to basically avail the facilities in the same manner on parity with the people who have studied or who have learned or who have access to the facilities. So that has been the case here. He says that we should have been focusing upon the major issues such as the lack of infrastructure, the lack of doctors, the increased health checkups, the nurse ratio, emergency, and all other issues that are currently happening over there. So I hope this is clear. The next article is related to the PM cares. Now, you need not to go into detail. Just remember two things about it. PM cares is outside the ambit of the Right to Information Act. Now, please remember, under the Indian Constitution, whenever there is a particular fund that is established, and it is established either by law or either by notification. When I say law, it means the parliament had made a law that there should be a particular fund for the usage. For example, I hope you remember National Disaster Management Act was passed in 2005. Now, for the operations of the National Disaster Management Act, a National Disaster Relief Fund is being created with a corpus of 2000 crore. ये important नहीं है, इसको छोड़ दीजिए. सिर्फ ये ध्यान रखिए कि एक नेशनल डिजास्टर रिलीफ फंड जो था वो क्रिएट किया गया. तो how it is created? It is created by law. What is law? Law is something that is passed by the parliament. Now, the other way to create such funds is by notification. You can provide a notification, you can provide the route. Once it is a notification, it is a government mandated notification which suggested that this kind of fund is being created. Now, this kind of fund was created by Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, and at that particular time it was called as Prime Minister National Relief Fund, and it was set up with the objective of rehabilitation of the people when they were coming from Pakistan to India, or you can say the undivided India to India. तो जब partition हो रहा था उस समय पे Prime Minister Jawaharlal Nehru have set up a fund. Now, why it is in controversy? Please remember, NDRF and PMNRF both are needed to be accounted for. Both fall in the ambit of Right to Information Act. The PM Cares does not fall within the right of the Information Act, and lot of petition has been filed in the courts that this is what Prime Minister Narendra Modi is doing. He is not very transparent about the funds that is coming to the PM Cares and how much money is allocated to what of the resources that are being desired by certain agencies. Even if it is allotted for the oxygens, even if it is allotted for the beds, we do not know what kind of things are there. One more problem with the PM Cares Fund is it have opened the doors for the foreign contribution into the Indian land. And please remember, India have stopped taking contribution from Atal Bihari Vajpayee era to Narendra Modi era of 2019. In 2020, for the very first time, we have changed this policy that we have allowed basically the foreign aid coming to our country. अच्छा, अब इसका मतलब क्या था? जैसे फॉर एग्जांपल 2004 में, 2011 and 2007 में there have been lot of trouble that happened with India. In 2004 there was tsunami, in 2007 there was Mumbai attack, and in 2000 there was different kind of people who were suffering in the lower sections of the society. Now, all at those three times, at all three occasions, certain countries have offered money to India. And at that particular time, Mr. Manmohan Singh was there and Mr. Atal Bihari Vajpayee was there. They have refused that we will not take any foreign aid because we are sufficient enough to basically manage everything on our own. Now, whenever someone gives you something, please remember, जब भी आपके पास कोई इंसान कुछ लेके आएगा, it will always be seeking something back from you. This is how the things work. So India preferred that we will not take money. But in the PM Cares Fund, Mr. Narendra Modi have changed this policy that we will take the fund from the foreign companies or the foreign entities also, and they have been encouraged to basically contribute to the PM Cares Fund. So that has been under scrutiny. तो बस इसको इतना याद रखिए, इससे डिटेल में जाने की जरूरत नहीं है. The next one is the change of guard. Now this is related to the Japan new Prime Minister, that is Kishida, and he is the leader of Liberal Democratic Party. And you need not to go into detail about it, just know the person's name, and his name is Kishida. Okay, and he will be replacing Mr. Sunga. Okay, तो इस बात को ध्यान रखिएगा. And the big task is again the revival of the economy, the unemployment rate, the hikigimori, and the post-COVID recovery. Okay, so that has been the case. That are the major things about it. The next one is lesson from China on gig worker right. Now, first of all, you need to understand what are gig workers. Gig workers, as it is coming from the music industry. I hope you understand. Music industry में एक बहुत important phrase है कि आज का gig कहाँ पे है. ठीक है? So gig is a small performance of 5 to 7 minutes or 10 to 15 minutes where usually a band will play and they will show it to the public. Now, from there, the word gig have come into the economy. Now, what is a gig economy? Gig economy is a certain form of employment that is available in the market, in which you work for certain time without any benefits getting from the companies on individual basis, and you can decide whenever flexible times you want to work. Just say for example, Ola, Uber are a type of gig workers platform. Swiggy is a gig worker platform, and Zomato is also a gig worker platform. So it is for the individual to basically decide at which time they want to work and where they want to work. They can report to the company, and company will basically allot them that this is the things that you can or could do. Now, where comes the problem is, there was a problem with regard to the gig workers in India. First of all, you have to understand what happened during COVID times. In the COVID times, there were a lot of taxi users, lot of Swiggy, Zomato and all other people who have been put out of jobs. They were not given any relief by the government. The government did not extended any benefits or the post-COVID benefits to these particular individuals, and there have been no extension of any form of security to those particular individuals. Now, Miss or Mrs. Soumya Ashok basically wanted to highlight this particular point, that when we say about gig workers, there should be certain rights that they should be having. Now, in the case of China, we have seen certain cases. So, she provides a detailed study with regard to the China, what happened in China. So, I will only give you a brief idea, because what happened in China is not important to us. We just need to learn that what happened in China. In China, there were also gig workers. As the lockdown was continuing, they all went out of the jobs. But what happened with the gig workers is, because Chinese economy is mainly an urban economy, and in urban economy, these gig workers were playing a crucial role in delivering the facilities, things, usage, daily needs item or all other things. They were linked with the individuals. So it created a type of a sympathy wave in the people of China, that these people are also needed to provided or needed to be provided certain or different form of facilities so that they can manage their expenses. I hope this is clear. Now, please remember, the government of China is also talking about common prosperity. They are not talking about individual prosperity. Just say, for example, in India, if you see, the major tax benefits are given to the corporates. The working class or the salaried class has not been given any of the tax benefits. Okay? I hope you understand. I am not criticizing the government, but that is what has happened. The tax benefits and the loan rate, interest rate less are only provided to the companies. There are no direct benefits. There are indirect benefits in large number. Just for example, interest rate come kiya, so that is not a direct benefit, it is an indirect benefit. When I talk about direct benefit, I am talking about certain form of relief that will be directly provided by the government of India to some workers. So there is or has been not a direct benefit that is provided to the workers. Now, in China, what happened? There was a common consensus that these gig workers are important part of the Chinese society. They have been delivering in the lockdowns. They have been providing facilities to the elderly who are at home, because I hope you remember, in China, they followed a policy of single child. So majority, we can assume that majority of the people would be on the elder side. But these elder people are more educated, more closer to the technologies. So they had a good relations with the gig workers. They had someone to do their jobs. ठीक है, तो जितने भी वहाँ पे जो बुढ़े लोग थे, they get home delivered all the commodities at their homes. ठीक है, तो इस बात को ध्यान रखिएगा. This is going to be the situation of India in 2045 and 2050. ठीक है, all the elderly, they will have extended relationships with their service providers. Maybe their children will not live with them, they will live separately, but at that particular time also there will be certain facilities that will rise in the market that will basically help the elderly to manage their expenses and whatever needs that they are having. Okay. So these were the things that are coming on. Now in India, there are reforms that are highly desired. There is no social security for the gig workers. There is no type of lockdown benefits or the COVID benefits that are extended to them. In some cases, there is a type of a Tughlaq rule that is being implemented by certain companies such as Swiggy, and this is an instance in which for every delivery that the persons of the personals of the Swiggy made, the amount has been reduced from 35 rupees to 15 rupees. Okay, so 35 rupees is the amount that Swiggy basically pays to an individual who is dropping the food from the shop to your home. ठीक है, और उसमें फिर उनके expenses, petrol and all of the things that also counted. I do not know how they function, but that is the amount of commission that they generally get. So we should be careful about them. We should be basically working about them, and we should be thinking about them. And the whole thing Miss or Mrs. Ashok wanted to say is that we should be considering them an important part of the economy. We should extend them benefits. We should also care for them. The government should also be needed to be vigilant about the welfares of these particular individuals, because they are not sooner, although this is not written in the article, but I'm telling you, gig workers, maybe not today, but after 10 or 15 years, they are going to be one of the most important part of the society. I think already they have been. They know your homes, they know your families, they even know your dogs, and they know where you are, what is the timing of your houses, they deliver you couriers every day. So that has been a type of a relationship that is already being developed with them. Over the time, the task is only uphill, it is only going to improve, and it is not going to negate on the negative side. Okay? The courier companies are basically going, or the Flipkart and the Amazon are basically going to expand to every corner of India. Wherever they want to, you want your couriers, they will deliver their couriers over there. So I hope this is clear. The next news is related to Army to get 25 advanced helicopters at 3,850 crore. So there are three policies: helicopters, ammunition and rocket ammunition. So Defence Acquisition Council is basically headed by the Defence Minister, and it have given a go-ahead for a proposal of 13,165 crore. So reform of the army is one of the things that we need. Next one is Taliban urged DGCA to resume Afghan flights. So Taliban have said कि यार दुश्मनी बहुत हो गई, अब चलिए धंधा करते हैं. Our country is not earning anything, our people are not earning anything. तो 2 flights आएंगी तो उसकी वजह से इकोनॉमी थोड़ा रन करेगी. India have not said it yet anything. Maybe India is still living in the hangover of the past. 1998 Kandahar hijack. I think IC-84 or IC-184. That was the name of the flight. So I think India is still living in that particular belief कि तालिबान ने उस समय ऐसा किया था. So we again have to see what will happen. The next one is the 24 lakh pre-primary students. I don't know why this is not highlighted. Please highlight this particular article. Now 24 lakh pre-primary students to get meals, and center rebrand the name as PM Poshan. No progress on the plan for breakfast. Now please remember, midday meal is a flagship program of the government of India. Under the midday meal scheme, any student who is between class 1st to class 8 will be given one-time lunch, a midday meal at the school level. Now, there was a extension of midday meal to pre-primary students who are incorporated formal education. So pre-primary students, the 2 classes that now are started by the new education policy. Just for example, there was no nursery KG in the government hospital, you directly get admission into first class. But in nursery KG, these were the classes that were basically present in the private schools. Now over the time what happened, the government have come up with the new education policy that came up in 2020. In that new education policy, government have said that the pre-nursery and the pre-KG or the pre-normative years of the first class will also be there. Now up to 8th class, the government is basically providing midday meal. Midday meals mean दिन में एक बार जो उनको meal जो थी वो दी जाती है. So that is called as Poshan Abhiyan, PM Poshan Abhiyan. And this meal have certain standards. This can be checked by the sub-divisional magistrate. This can be checked by the Tehsildar level officers. These can be checked by the school management committees. Just for example, I do not know whether you have seen any of the school management committees, but there are certain management committees that are in the schools. Now, in that particular management committees, there is principal, there are students, there are teachers, and there are parents. So they all form the committee, and they all have responsibility that whether a healthy diet is being cooked for the wards or not. Okay, so I think that is a good initiative. Now, with regard to the extension, 24 lakh pre-primary students will also get meal. Now, please remember, PM Poshan, if we talk about this particular scheme, please search which ministry basically runs it. Which ministry runs it earlier, and the controls of the midday meal scheme has been transferred to which ministry now. These are the two things that you will do on your own. By doing this, you will remember what is the objective of the midday meal and which ministry is basically running it. ठीक है, जैसे फॉर एग्जाम्पल कुछ कंट्रोल जो है दे हैव बीन डाइवर्ज्ड. जैसे हमने पहले कहा था कि आंगनवाड़ी जो है दे कम्स अंडर द WCD डिपार्टमेंट, वुमेन चाइल्ड एंड डेवलपमेंट डिपार्टमेंट. But now the Anganwadi's control is being shifted to the education ministry, specifically the academic parts. ठीक है, तो इसको ध्यान रखिएगा, इसको सर्च करिएगा. PM पोषण स्कीम जो थी अर्लियर वाज अंडर विच, जो प्री प्राइमरी का कंट्रोल था वो किसके अंडर था. ठीक है, वैसे तो WCD मिनिस्ट्री मैंने आपको बता ही दिया, उसी के अंडर था. दे वर सप्लाइंग, आई होप यू हैव हर्ड ऑफ चाइल्ड डेवलपमेंट प्रोजेक्ट ऑफिसर्स, CDPOs. So they work under the WCD ministry, and in that WCD ministry they had responsibility of accessibility of all the better quality food to the persons who are in the rural areas. ठीक है, तो इसको ध्यान रखिएगा. Now the next news is related to high levels of maternal child nutrition, undernutrition continue to plague India. Now that is a serious concern, and from here it is coming. This is coming from Arjun D. Waqt, and he is the head of nutrition at UNICEF. UNICEF is a United Nations organization, and this is United Nations Children Fund. That is what UNICEF stands for. Now there is an interview that has been conducted, and he has said that you can see the situation in India. I am highly skeptical with regard to the nutrition level that is currently existent in India. You can see 1/3 of the children. The report that is National Family Health Survey 5 have, sorry, National Family Health Survey 4 have given us. I have told you two major reports last year. Please remember these two major reports. One is the National Family Health Survey, and next one is the Hunger Index. In Hunger Index, we are situated at 94th rank out of 103 countries. If I am not wrong or correctly remember the rank, in the National Family Health Survey, 1/3 of our children are stunted, half of our children are anemic, and 1/3 of our children are wasted. So that is a problem, and that is only one side of the problem. The other side of the problem is all those children who are getting good diets, they are either suffering from obesity. Some of them, 10% of the children are suffering from obesity. And there are micronutrient deficiencies that are generally found in them. So that is a major problem that we have to tackle. Now on one side, we have to control obesity because of the food habits that have changed. We are consuming more and more junk food. Specifically, it is more disadvantageous to all those mothers who are supposedly going to basically give birth to the new generation. ठीक है, जैसे for example, I hope you understand, there is no way to basically be getting offended with regard to the feminism and with regard to the patriarchal society. This is only for the benefit of a generation. Man does not bear the responsibility of bringing a new life to the world. Women have the responsibility. If the internal immunity, the internal health, micronutrient deficiencies, or any other disease free health is not maintained by the woman, it will directly reflect into the health of the children. So it is very highly advised that all the women who are basically in the current age, they should not feed much on the junk food. That is creating a lot of troubles for the young generation, and you can, I think, in all locality you are seeing the increasing of these particular things. Okay? These are the things that affect in the long term. Okay? And other than that, there is stress also that is also affecting negatively all the women. So these are the things that are needed to be taken care of. Now he says, the another question that was posed to him, do you think that COVID had affected the level of nutrition in India? So according to Mr. Arjun, he says that it is not the past I am worried about. Okay, see, when you read interviews of such persons, you get insights or the words or the ways in which they put things. He says that I am not worried about the past. but I am more worried it is about the future. I already knew that it had adversely affected the nutrition of the children in India. I already knew that it had negatively affected every health population of children in India. But my major concerns here is how long will be the period that is definitely going to come in the form of the third wave, and how severe will be the food insecurities of the individual in that particular new wave when it will come. Whether India will be able to manage the food supplies to everybody, that is my concern. So that is what he have said. ठीक है, अब ये कुछ कर पाएंगे नहीं कर पाएंगे वो अलग बात है, but that is what he have said. Now, other than that, he said that what India can do, we can provide Anganwadi social services, awareness, village health, sanitation and nutrition that is needed to be improved. Now, the ripples and the waves that are going to come, we also have to see the double threat that is coming in front of us. First of all, we are seeing that there is a decline in the vaccination and the nutrition. That is, your health, physical health is being compromised. Secondly, you have to see the repeated shocks that are coming to the families. If there are two individuals, let's say there is mother, father, and both mother and father dies, definitely the health of the children, even if he is from rich family, the mental health is definitely going to get affected. So these are the things that we need to control. And the problem with this is we are not basically having major resources to put in, major facilities to put in so that everything can be taken care of. Now, when we talk about next, that is the sixth factor, he says that we can have to have a six-pronged policy that we need to follow. He says that we need to have a leadership, we need to have universal nutrition services, free food for everybody, that is also with the help of nutrition, adoption and transformation is needed, finance for deliveries and finance for deliverables such as food grains, nutrition facilities, midday meals that is needed to be provided, collection of the solution, household targeting, that is another part. Nutrition is the key indicator that we need to basically focus upon because we cannot control the depth. The only thing that we can only manage is the nutrition. Okay? So, इसको ध्यान रखिएगा. The next one is the defined exemption from the data protection law. So that has been said by Jairam Ramesh. I hope you remember there is a data protection law that is under unveil and that has been transferred to the select committee. The select committee have said that there are certain phrases that are being used. ठीक है, अब इस डाटा प्रोटेक्शन लॉ को भी छोड़ दीजिए, जिस दिन आर्टिकल आएगा आई विल टेल यू इन डिटेल अबाउट द डाटा प्रोटेक्शन लॉ. फॉर राइट नाउ यू जस्ट रिमेंबर that whatever data that the companies Flipkart, Amazon, Google and all other companies ask from you and you put in that particular data, or even the cell companies such as Jio, Vodafone, Tata, whatever, but whosoever private company seeks your data, how they keep your data, how they can use your data, how they can process your data, with whom they can share your data, that are the major questions that are basically trying to be regulated by the government of India under the data protection law. ठीक है, that is the objective of data protection law. करना क्या है कि जो आपसे डाटा लिया जाए वो किस तरह से प्राइवेट कंपनियां यूज कर पाए, that is the objective of data protection law. ठीक है, तो उसमें कुछ इश्यूज थे सोवरनिटी, फ्रेंडली रिलेशंस और सिक्योरिटी ऑफ स्टेट को लेके. तो जयराम रमेश सर कि भैया आप डिफाइन करिए, ये तो बहुत वेग टर्म्स हैं, आप तो किसी भी बात के लिए हम आपसे कहेंगे कि हाँ आपने किसी एक पर्सन पे नज़र रखी तो आप कह देंगे ये तो जी सिक्योरिटी ऑफ स्टेट के लिए ज़रूरी था. मान लीजिए कोई आईएएस ऑफिसर, ही इज़ अ हार्ड वर्किंग आईएएस ऑफिसर बट नॉट वर्किंग अकॉर्डिंग टू यू, तो आपने उस पर इंक्वायरी बिठाई और उसको झूठे केस में फंसा दिया. दीज आर द थिंग्स दैट आर नीडेड टू बी डिफाइंड. तो इसके बारे में कभी और बात करेंगे. जस्ट हैव अ ब्रीफ आइडिया कि ये आर्टिकल कहना क्या चाहता है. ठीक है. द नेक्स्ट वन इज द कैबिनेट अप्रूव ECGC. First of all, what is this ECGC? This is Export Credit Guarantee Corporation. Now, what is this Export Guarantee Credit Corporation? From the name it is clear. जो भी आइटम्स इंडिया से बाहर एक्सपोर्ट करी जाएंगी, अगर उन कंपनीज को, जो कंपनीज एक्सपोर्ट करती हैं, दे नीड क्रेडिट. क्रेडिट मतलब पैसा चाहिए उनको अपना बिजनेस स्टार्ट करने के लिए. सो इट विल बी प्रोवाइडेड एट चीपर रेट इन कंपैरिजन टू द बैंक्स by these Export Credit Guarantee Corporation. ठीक है. And for this 6,000 crore for export cover has been provided. So cabinet decided कि हाँ we need to increase our exports. That is the only way we are going to survive in the world. So therefore 6,000 crore guarantee has been given कि 6,000 तक अगर पर्सन लोन लेंगे और 6,000 करोड़ मान लीजिए सारा का सारा वापस नहीं आए तो इट विल बी ECGC दैट विल बी प्रोवाइडिंग द मनी बैक टू द बैंक्स विच विल एक्सटेंडिंग द लोन्स. ठीक है, तो इसको ध्यान रखिएगा. The next one, Kishidia, I think you already know. We have talked about Kishidia. The next one is Nazla Boudin, named as the Tunisia's first woman prime minister. Now see the country of Tunisia. She is a geologist, highly qualified woman, highly intelligent woman. That is the same kind of revolution we have to start in India. Now, I don't know how successful we would be, but I think unemployment, although it is bad for the economy, it is very good for the डेवलपमेंट ऑफ अ सोशल कंसेंसस अमंग द सोसाइटी. अब ऐसा मैं क्यों कह रहा हूं, ध्यान से सुनिए. इफ ऑल द पीपल आर गेटिंग जॉब्स, द ओनली कंसर्न इज मनी. पीपल विल नॉट बी थिंकिंग दैट व्हाट काइंड ऑफ लीडर्स आर रूलिंग अस, व्हाट काइंड ऑफ पर्संस वी आर इलेक्टिंग, व्हाट काइंड ऑफ एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन वी आर गेटिंग. Once there is unemployment in the society, people will be learning that why the government is basically not providing us jobs, how their hands are tied. So more and more people will basically seek answers, and once you seek answers, the government become accountable. Okay, it happens to the wrong side also. Government also become a type of a accomplice to whatever the changing situations are. तो हो सकता है there are much pressures on the government also, but that is a good change that we have to see. ठीक है, जैसे जैसे ये चीजें बढ़ती जाएंगी. राइट नाउ आई थिंक वी आर अप्रॉक्सीमेटली इन द स्टेट ऑफ HP देयर आर 10 lakh people who are unemployed. Now in those 10 lakh people, even if 1 lakh get educated, they can change the whole fabric of the society of HP. ठीक है, तो इस बात को ध्यान रखिएगा. So I hope this is clear. Okay, so that is it for today. कल के लेक्चर में मिलेंगे.